Welcome back to Threshold Games. In this video, I will be showing you this week's project called CHIMP, a retro arcade game inspired by 80s classics such as Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, and Dig Dug. In CHIMP, your goal is to cross the jungle to the fruit, collect it, and make your way back to your home without getting attacked by one of the hungry crocodiles that patrol the jungle. Let's jump right in. I started by creating a new project in Construct 3. I set my layout size and created a new sprite object that I added the tile movement behavior to. Then I created a new tile map object and fiddled around with it until I got the size and positioning I wanted. I added the solid behavior to keep the player in bounds. The tile movement behavior interacts with the solid behavior by default in Construct. I started out planning on having the game be controlled by the mouse, where you would click on the tiles adjacent to the player to make him move. But I found this to be frustrating to control, so I later set it up so that the player would be controlled with the arrow keys or the WASD keys. Next, I created the location of the fruit and the location of the player's home and set up a system to increase the score whenever you collect the fruit and take it back to your starting space. Next, I created a simple timer bar out of a sprite, which I later replaced with a tile map background. The timer is set up so that when you're playing the game, it is always counting down to 0 unless you collect a fruit, in which case it resets. I then created an enemy sprite and created a simple movement system that picks a number at random and moves the enemy in the direction associated with that number. I also added lives so that if you get hit by the enemy, you still have a chance to keep playing. I also set up a level system so that the difficulty increases for each fruit that you collect. The enemies move faster and the walls spawn, blocking your way. I knew when I started out I wanted to have collectible power-ups like in those classic arcade games, so I added an extra life collectible and a speed boost power-up that randomly spawn in the game. I axed a power-up that would double your score because it just didn't seem to fit in. I'm going to take a moment now and tell you that if you like what I'm doing on this channel, I would love for you to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks a bunch. I next got started on the artwork. I didn't use a palette this time and just picked some bright arcade game looking colors that I liked. I took direct inspiration from Donkey Kong and decided to make my character a monkey. After creating some simple animations for the player, I created a tile set. I initially went with red, but later changed it to green to be more reminiscent of a jungle habitat. I also decided to make the enemy a crocodile based on the enemies from Dig Dug, which was easy to animate. I made fruit and power-up sprites and made the timer bar use distinct bars for the countdown. I put together the title screen and took some time to decide on a name for the game, since Monkey Run was a little too generic. I went with CHIMP in the end, which was also inspired by Dig Dug. I knew that I wanted to have another go at creating music for the game, so I used GarageBand to create the sound effects and a couple of simple chiptune jingles that play at the start of a game, when you score, and when you get a game over. I spent the most time on this part of the project. After implementing the sounds, I spent a good amount of time making changes and polishing the game. Here's the finalized version. This was a really fun project for me. I liked honing my music making skills a little, though I still have a long way to go, and the arcade style felt really great to create. Thanks everyone for watching. I look forward to showing you another project in next week's video.